the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Hey, top of the morning to you. It's good to have you on board. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard. This show is brought to you by DraftKings. Big show lined up for you. We'll get into some player props for Championship Sunday coming up here in a little bit. Matt Youmans on the program today. His best bets for the week. Jonathan Von Tobel, some NBA. And we'll go to San Francisco later on in the morning. John Lund will join the program from KMBR in San Francisco. Is Deebo Samuel going to play in this game? Of course, Pauly, we every day at this time of year typically start with something in the NFL, but last night in the NBA with what took place, it was, I mean, how many times in history will you come in, wake up, and the discussion is a guy scored 62 points last night, and it wasn't even the most points scored by a player in the league.
Yeah.
So we had one guy go for 70, who was your MVP frontrunner right now, Joel Embiid, and Karl Anthony Towns dropped 62 in a loss, by the way.
Yes.
And how did that team give up 128 points? We'll get to that coming up in a second. The Sixers scored 133. They couldn't cover, but the story is Embiid, 70 last night, and now he's down to plus 130 to win the MVP this morning at DraftKings.
Well, how about he did it in 36 minutes?
Yeah, right.
That's the first 70, 15, and 5 in NBA history. 4 times we've had 2 players score 60 in the same night. We've never had 2 players score at least 65 in the same night. That was in range, but it didn't happen. Towns had 44 in the first half.
He only scored. He was 2 of 10 from the floor in the fourth quarter.
Right now, that's wild. You lose the game. But the tricky thing here with Embiid is plus 130, as you mentioned. But if he misses 7 games, he's not eligible for the award. So, and then 2 weeks ago, he said, my main focus is health, not MVP.
Sure.
So while he continues to put up ridiculous numbers in the first 70, 15, and 5 in NBA history, you can't just run out and say, well, this is a no-brainer. He's going to win the MVP because there could be an injury.
Right.
He could have some rest. They might sit him down when we get later in the year. So with these new rules here, this has become wild how you have to treat awards. But the kid just continues. I mean, on a bad night, he scores 30 now.
Right.
What he's done.
Well, I mean, when you look at it like this, so Embiid, you wake up today, he is now averaging 36.1 points per game on the year. Harden did that back in 18-19. That was his average for the entire season. When you go back and, you know, a lot of these players in the game today, their hero growing up was Kobe Bryant. And yesterday, good job by you pointing that out, it was the 18-year anniversary of Kobe going for 81. Did that play into it last night where these guys, it was, you know, it meant that much to them where they wanted to do something special? Kobe that year averaged 35.4 points per game. Back-to-back years for Michael Jordan. 87-88, it was 35 points per game, but the year before that, he averaged 37.1 points per game. So I do think, and look, we're coming in early here, and it's easy to say that as of right now, Embiid would win the MVP, and, you know, go make a bet on that guy. But you're fighting two things. Not only can he only miss 7 more games, right? Let's not forget about how good of a season Joker's having. It seems like every night it's 31, 15, and 10 or something along those lines. And when you look at some of the advanced numbers, Jokic is still actually better than Embiid. And Embiid's putting up, you can actually say this year he's playing out of his mind. He's the true MVP maybe today, this year, compared to what he was last year. But regardless, some things that voters might take into effect now with advanced numbers overall compared to previous years at dunksandthrees.com. Great website. They have their estimated plus minus. He is now plus 10.8 on the year. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is plus 9.3. This is per 100 possessions, and Joker is down to 7.2. When you look at the per metric, Embiid is sitting at 35.65, and Joker is 32.05. So now he is like, that's a massive gap between number 1 and number 2 for the Hollinger numbers there with the per rating.
Yeah.
But I don't, again, like...
And people are going to bring up what happened last year in the playoffs, though, too.
Well, if they use it against Joker before last year, they're going to use it against Embiid, you would think.
Yeah. He's the 9th player to score 70. Does that surprise you?
That it's only 9, or it's been that many?
That many. 9 guys have done it?
No, because we've been alive for plenty of them now, right? I mean, Booker did it.
Yeah.
You know, David Robinson did it.
Yeah.
I know I'm missing some, but clearly.
Well, it's also wild that he does it on the anniversary of Kobe, because you're thinking, because he get 80 now and he would have had it if he would have played a majority of the game. And then with the Minnesota angle, they came out and they said it after the game. Edwards said it. They were looking around thinking this guy might get 100. And the next thing you know, they blow an 18-point lead. They're number one in defense. They're a 14-point home favorite against god-awful Charlotte, who's 10-31. Yeah. And next thing you know, we have a game. But this is the talent in this league.
Oh, it's amazing.
I mean, Cat's a big guy, and he hits 10 threes.
How about this? He became the first player in the history of the league last night to make 10 twos, 10 threes, and 10 free throws.
Wow.
That'll tell you about the talent overall, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that guy in any other era would just be ridiculous. He would stick out like a sore thumb, but he gets completely lost because so many players are just like better than him. Or they put up better numbers than Cat.
Right. Well, you saw with both teams, though. Philly can't cover. Minnesota can't even win the game.
I know.
So one guy's scoring every time down. You're standing around, you're looking at him. And then Finch called it immature basketball afterwards. I mean, I don't know what they were doing defensively. But then one guy struggles in the fourth quarter. One guy's taking the majority of the shots. And then they can't even win the damn game.
I know.
And what happened? I mean, you're right. You can't. How do you give up that many points at home to a bad team when you're number one in defense?
All of that, right?
Completely takes away from the night.
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's a kick to the breadbasket. You were outscored 36-18 at home in the fourth quarter. And you're a 14-point favorite, and Cat's doing that. And yeah, you're exactly right. Finch eviscerated the players after the game. That's a money quote, by the way, from Anthony Edwards.
Yes.
We're standing around watching the guy. He might go for 100 when he's got 44 at halftime. And that's I guess, the reason why. Just like, here you go, take over. And unfortunately for them and for Cat, he had that bad fourth quarter where it just keep shooting, pal. See if you can get 70 or more. And then he was 2 of 10 in the fourth.
Sure, good point. That's where you have to be careful and still respect the game. You can't just be focused on, well, this guy, let's see how many points he can get. And then if one guy's shooting, the other guys aren't in a rhythm. They're standing around. And next thing you know, you're not playing real basketball, and you blow the game. I mean, that shouldn't even be close there. The fact that you're up 18 against these guys, you should run them out. That's now back-to-back losses at home. After what happened, they were coming off the loss at home against OKC. So still a young team. Weird stuff's going to happen. So they're saying all the right things afterwards. You're the 1 seed. It's going to be important that you get that. And you don't want to blow this season. You're off to a great start as we're getting close to the All-Star break here. Yeah, this will give you an example to your point of how much talent there is in this league. Last night, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 2-time MVP, right? He had 31, 17, and 10. On the season, in 35 minutes, he's averaging 31.2 points, 11.5 rebounds, 6 assists, shooting 60% from the floor. He's 11-1 to win the MVP. And I would tell you, as of this morning, that's too long. I'm sorry, that's too short. It's too short. He should be higher than that because he basically, when you put him up against Joker and Embiid, unless something happens to those two guys, and I'll throw in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's not winning the MVP this year. Yeah. And he's putting up insane numbers. You're right. And you're right. Joker has entered Jordan territory where it's just he's going to get a triple-double on accident no matter what he does, and he's so good and his numbers are so good. Yeah. It's just like you're used. Yeah, right. It's boring. It's no big deal. Like you couldn't give Jordan the MVP every year. Even though you could have. Yeah, you could have. Should have. So it's going to be the same thing with Joker. He could win it every year if the voters decide to do that. And still with Embiid, who's putting up better numbers, it's the injury concern or at least or health. And if he misses time the rest of the way. Yeah. So we can't advocate betting Embiid today. I would not even put him in parlays if that's available where you can bet with your legal sports books. I wouldn't do that just because, again, that's the double whammy, right? There's a chance he misses more time, and he's already talked about that. Because I think at this point, he also recognizes, look, it's great. I've now been recognized as the best player in the NBA for a single season. That's what I wanted to do once in my life. He won that. And now he also, on the other side, realizes that I get ridiculed because I can't get out of the second round of the playoffs. So this year is about doing what Joker did last year, and that's making a run, get to the finals, and see if I can win a ship here. And the Eastern Conference playoffs are going to be fantastic. That's another one too, because they're going to make some moves. Philly's going to make a move. Other trades are happening. The Pacers got Siakam. The Knicks got OG. All right. I mean, these are teams that weren't even supposed to compete and weren't even contenders, and they're improving themselves, trying to get up there and taking a shot. Yeah. So it's like the old Daryl Morey line. Even if you have a 5% chance, you have to go for it, and these teams are doing it. So that's refreshing. Yep.
And I think these teams at the very top, that's the thing, right? Some of the teams below Philly, Boston, by the way, winners last night at Dallas, small favorite in that game. Tatum and Brown were awesome. They combined to go for more than 70. And the Bucks, like those three teams, are probably going to do something here.
Well, look at what happened last year with the Heat. That's another reason why you have to go for it. You don't know. Mm-hmm. I mean, you get hot at the right time. There can be an upset. Someone can have an injury. Next thing you know, my God, we're in the conference finals.
Yep.
And you could do this.
And remember, like ESPN, their numbers, the BPI, I think, before the Eastern Conference Final started, they gave the Celtics like a 97% chance to win it per their numbers. And, you blink twice. Oh, they're down 0-3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they were just completely fatigued and out of gas, and they weren't coming back. They made it a good series, but that's, you can get surpassed in the night, right? It's like two ships passing each other in the NBA because these teams are, Paul, there was a time not that long ago where every single year before the season started, you could name like 3 teams that are going to win the championship.
Sure.
That's it.
No doubt.
Now there's like 15.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a totally different sport than what it was 10, 15 years ago.
Right. Celtics are stacked, but one injury changes everything.
Of course, right.
But also you have considerable depth now in both conferences. And the West is wide open too, even though you have to respect the champs. Guy scores 70 points in 36 minutes. My God.
21 to 23 from the line.
Yeah.
And 24-41 from the floor last night.
He's one of the best shooters in the league.
Oh, he's great.
I'm just forgetting, not big guys, just one of the best shooters.
I'm actually
an outside jumper that he has.
I'm surprised when he misses from 15 feet or from the free throw line.
Yeah, good point.
By the way, one of those 2 teams now, or 3 teams I should say, rumored to maybe be involved in a big trade. Details on that and win-lose next.
Last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
After the game, Minnesota said we disrespected the game as a player was trying to hunt for a big number. Well, anyway, Charlotte was plus 750 on the money line, down 18, and they win as 14-point dogs in Minnesota. Memphis was plus 230. They won in Toronto. Cavs do it again. Not that long ago, Milwaukee was minus 2,000 to win the division. It's now $4. Cavs plus 1 went off the favorite and won again. Embiid, first player in history, was 70, 15, and 5 in a game. And the San Jose Sharks beat the Kings. They were plus 310 on the money line. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos. Super slow-mo, coming in hot. This was on social media again, making the rounds. Look at the dog coming in, running into the owner's vehicle where the window's down, and he's coming in hot from the passenger seat, and he nails it. Coming in with the video where you're looking right in. Look at the face. Look at his face as he comes in. Don't forget about me, Dad. Take me on the trip, too. And he comes in full steam, mind you. I mean, he is hauling ass as he jumps in the car and gets ready to go as he wants to leave and go with his dad. As he comes in from the house.
I want to see a split screen of real time and slow motion.
Yes.
And then there you go. Pause. Look at the look.
Right. Coming in. Yeah. Does it every Tuesday, right? It's old hat for him. I mean, he comes in no problem, and he knows this must be a regular occurrence as they're rolling with the footage here. That is awesome. We got to put that up later at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. It's been a while. It's been too long. House porn. Great follow on X. Look at this view. Are you serious? The ocean view from the bathroom. Oh, my God. Fantastic. That is great. Yeah, not bad. Ocean view, and then you have your own little pool as well.
Last time you took a bath.
Been a long time, right? I don't want to sit in my own filth, right? But that's the old Larry David line from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Well, I mean, I live on the ocean, but, after one day, you get sick of it, right? I mean, it's no big deal. A lot of people tweeted about, I think this is a great idea. How about the 2 worst teams in the league play on Thursday night football, the weekend, or before the weekend of wild card action, and the winner gets the number 1 overall pick. You like that?
Well, this year would be a little funky because would Carolina, how would they look at the game? Because the pick would technically still not go to them.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, throw that out.
Well, no, but I mean, in theory,
I think that's a great idea.
In theory, I kind of like it.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want any tanking. And you just say, okay, the 2 worst teams will play on a Thursday, and the winner gets the number 1 pick. Got to win the game. I think that's great. Also, here last night at Circus, somebody hit a Royale with cheese for $100,000. Oh, what a feeling. Oh, one time.
What is that, a push?
125
125 a push?
That's right.
Yeah.
First goal in the first 10. Streaks. Seattle 17-3, yes, at home. Boston 7 in a row. Columbus 11 of 13 on the road. Ottawa 16 of 18. Lose some. It comes to an end. Oh no, the Bruins beat the Jets 4-1. Empty net goal late.
Well, you had the Bruins in the game, though, so that was good.
The Jets 34 in a row, allowing 3 goals or fewer, 1 short of the modern record, the 2015 Minnesota Wild. Ah, damn.
It just so happens the schedule broke to where they were playing at Boston the night before, obviously. Yeah. So that team gets them.
Yep, and now they got Toronto coming up as well. So, what a story. Timberwolves Hornets under 224 down to 220. Not even close. UNC Wake over 154.5 up to 159.5. No good. This is sick. Let's go to the new Fontainebleau down the street. Guy waited an hour for nachos. That's bad enough. He's in the sports book. An hour for nachos. $24. This is what comes out. There's like 6 of them. There's almost more condiments than actual nachos here. $24. How does it take an hour? I don't care how backed up you are. And then it comes out like this.
Those chips better be pretty good, I'll tell you that.
I don't care.
So I can expand on this here in a couple of minutes.
You can?
On Fontainebleau, I've been there, yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. And one bad beat, the Suns did it again. They were down 23 at home to the Bulls and won the game. Last week, they were down 22 in the fourth quarter and beat the Kings. Bulls up 23, they blow it. At least they got the money where the Suns didn't cover. If you haven't already checked out the new VSiN.com, check out the title game previews. Adam Burke on what Samuel means to the Niners. We'll talk about that more coming up. Check it out, the new VSiN.com today. More mobile first, focused, enhanced navigation, expanded educational content. Check it out, the new VSiN.com.
Okay, so Fontainebleau is the brand new shiny casino here in Las Vegas. Of course, it's been ultra popular in Miami for a long, long time. This is the casino. You may or may not have heard of this. They started building it before the housing crash in 2008.
Yes.
So they finally completed it. It opened up, sometime in middle December. I went there on New Year's Eve weekend. So that's probably an unfair sample size for me to tell you about because it was incredible. And the amount of good-looking people at the Fontainebleau that weekend, I couldn't even keep track. It was nuts. And they were paying people. They were paying models from all over to be there, by the way. And Post Malone was playing, so the place was absolutely crowded. It's my understanding, and I know that Raj Markazi has written about this as well, but we went there, had dinner with some friends. He was staying there the entire weekend. He and his friends went to go get a spot at the sports book. To sit at the place that they call the tavern area, you need to make a minimum bet of $5,000 just to get a seat at the tavern, which is the pull-up bar area. If you want a seat on the inside of the sports book, like lounge chairs, couches, whatever, minimum size bet is $10,000 just to get inside and sit down. But that is completely inexplicable. I mean, say what you want about the bet sizes.
That doesn't even include the food.
It's my understanding that that's not food, alcohol, nothing like that.
10
food
grand.
Beverage, no.
It's $10,000 to sit down, and then you got to buy something.
Then you got to buy stuff on top of it. Yeah.
Oh.
So then imagine you go there and you order the nachos. It takes an hour and you get 6 chips back.
Yeah.
You'd be livid, and you honestly, you would tell them, like, where are the cameras at? You're punking me right now. This can't be real.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a phenomenal property.
That's what I hear. I
hope it works. We shall see.
Okay.
So the team I was talking about, look at that photo. Put it up again, please.
I don't know what's worse, $24 or it takes an hour.
I'd say...
I don't know.
That's a great question.
I mean, what?
Imagine your reaction. You're sitting there. It takes that long, and that's the plate they put in front of your face.
Oh, you'd be outraged, livid. Yeah. Race car in a red. Absolutely. You're on tilt. You're just...
You'd want to throw the plate back at them.
Yeah, good call. It's like the old candid camera days. So I'm being punked here. What's going on?
What's going on?
Yeah.
So here's the team. This is per Mark Stein. Covered the NBA for a long, long time. He wrote this, actually. The Milwaukee Bucks are trying to barge their way into the trade chase for Atlanta's DeJounte Murray. Now, is that the guy that they want on their team? And I ask that because when you look at overall numbers on the season, box score plus minus defensive side of the basketball, he ranks 140th in the NBA. The Bucks as a team, their defensive rating is 22nd overall in the league. Is that the punch that you need to come over? Don't you need a little bit of help on that side of the court more than, I don't know if you want to call it offensive firepower, call it what you will. I mean, it would be a nice pickup. They'd be loaded, but are they still going to be able to stop anybody on defense is my biggest question, I guess.
You can't just say I'm going to outscore people. I understand where you're coming from, but it's alarming how bad some of these teams have been defensively.
I know.
And still Milwaukee can't get it straightened out and figured out. Although they're still going to be. But when you're number 2 in offense, though, I mean, it's one thing when you look at numbers and say, well, this team's number 1 this year. And no, it's all time. Indiana's the number 1 team at offense all time, what they've done this year. And Milwaukee number 2 and Boston number 3. So the efficiency and what these teams are doing with so much firepower, and it's just, well, it's going to be a 3 in your face, or I'm going to get it down low and dunk it or get free throws. You can win 145, 140 every game.
Right. So, Bucks are 2, Celtics 3. Are those all time as well? Like, would they be the?
As I understand it, yeah.
So the top 3 teams of all time would be in the same season this year.
Yes, offensive efficiency. Yes.
Think about this again. And now the game has changed in the last 5 or 6 years, so we're getting even more threes, and these teams are better. And it's probably not even close, Pauly, as of this minute. They're better than the 2017 Golden State Warriors. That was the highest power rated team in the history of the game. And
we grew up, we were young kids in the 80s, and it's just people were playing the sport wrong all those years.
Yeah, they didn't have it figured out.
No, I mean, 3's bigger than 2. It's easy math. Wait a second. Why am I taking a long jumper? It's the worst shot in basketball. Right. If I back up a couple feet, I get an extra point. And then, guess what? A corner 3. Look how short that shot is. That's a layup for most guys now.
Right.
So how these teams study it, and now analytics and looking at how efficient they are. And it just, when you have guys like Halliburton and guys, look at Cat again. I mean, the guy scores 62 points. He's a big guy, and he hits 10 threes, so you can't guard that.
I wonder what Showtime would have looked like had they taken threes.
Yeah, right. Larry Bird, when I played, it was considered a bad shot.
Imagine that those Celtics teams, same thing. We'll look at player props coming up for the weekend. It has been a major issue for this team going back 2 months. Details on that next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
With the VSiN experts to work for you, start betting smarter with a VSiN Pro subscription. Use code FTM. Get your first year for only $1.99. Access to everything on the brand with the VSiN.com/website. Daily best bets, betting splits, betting systems, 24/7 video, and the upcoming Super Bowl betting guide. Promo code FTM. First year $1.99. VSiN.com/subscribe.
Looking at player props for Championship Sunday, I think we got to go back to the well on this one at least one more time. As long as they're playing, this should be a solid angle. When you go back and look, this is from week 10 of the regular season to what happened last week. What leading receivers have done against Detroit. That week against the Chargers, Keenan Allen had 11 catches for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. In week 11, DJ Moore, 7 for 96 and a score. Week 12, Christian Watson, 5 for 94 and a touchdown. Week 13, Chris Olave, 5 for 119. In a rematch against the Bears in week 14, DJ Moore, 6 for 68. Okay, but another touchdown. Week 16, Justin Jefferson, 6 for 141 and a score. Who was the quarterback of that game? Was it Mullins?
Oh, yeah, both.
Both games.
Both games. Yep.
Week 17, big game, CeeDee Lamb. That was the Saturday night game. Controversy at the end. 13 for 227 and a score. A rematch against the Vikings with Mullins again. Jefferson, week 18, 12 for 192 and a score. The wild card weekend, there's actually a 1 left off of Puka's numbers. He had 9 for $181 and a touchdown. And last week, Mike Evans, 8 for 147 and a score. Chris Olave is the only player on that list not to score a touchdown, first of all, is one of my takeaways.
Yeah.
The other takeaways is they haven't been able to slow down any leading receiver now, and this is going on more than 2 months.
You're not talking about Hall of Fame quarterbacks either, and why is Aaron Glenn up for all these jobs, at least with the interviews? I mean, you can't stop anything. How bad you're getting carved up here. Now, what it screams it's going to be Debo on Sunday if he plays. But if he doesn't go, then is it Ayuk? Then what happens? And does Purdy spread it around? And then what if Debo plays, but then he leaves with an injury again?
Sure.
But I mean, this guy's averaging 15 yards a reception, but it's night and day when he's on and off the field. You mentioned one key stat yesterday, but 7.1 yards per play with, 5.7 without. They had the 3-game losing streak when he was hurt. He got hurt in the first quarter of the Cleveland game. They only have one loss this year when Debo was played more than half the game. Hardly played the final game against the Rams, got hurt in the Cleveland game, and we know what happened in the Monday Night Massacre. So it is just, that's the key about it, and we'll know more coming up by, Shanahan wants to know by Wednesday or Thursday, he said. Right. Especially when putting a game plan together. But if they can't have this guy, I mean, to me, it's going to be Ayuk that goes off, but it's going to be Debo if he plays, but he also could get nicked up then and compromised during the game too.
Right, and bettors are not waiting, by the way, for any news on Debo Samuel. The Ayuk prop at DraftKings opened 74.5. Yesterday on the show, he was up to 78.5 minus 115. As we speak, it's 79.5 minus 130 to the over. So not only has it moved a full 5 yards, they're now juicing him up to minus 130. Kittle also up to 59.5 this morning. McCaffrey is the one player in this particular market that came down, and that was by 1 yard. He was 37.5. He's now 36.5. Of course, Debo not on the board as of right now. But I'm with you. Like, if Debo can't go, now that's going to be taking away, one of the best playmakers in the entire sport. Their numbers are completely different without the guy. They averaged 31 plus points per game with him, 17 points per game without him. That's big, 2 touchdowns per game, obviously. But Ayuk is the guy for me, for sure. Hence him going up 5 yards already. The entire world knows about that.
Yep.
So not surprised to see that on the move. And they just, again, great point by you. Aaron Glenn up for jobs across the country, and yet the defense is terrible.
We're talking about this every week. This is 2 months now. Yeah. I mean, stop something, slow somebody down. But then you also see what Otten did, and you would think Kittle's gonna feast too.
So you can look at some alternate numbers. Ayuk 80 plus was even money last night. 90 plus is 150. 100 plus is plus 195. If you think Kittle's going to be the guy, you're right, because they've had a tough time slowing down tight ends as well. 70 plus for Kittle, plus 140. 80 plus is plus 215. And they are not a throw it extremely deep, as we saw with that first touchdown of the game against the Packers the other night.
I think Purdy bounces back. Now, Shanahan said, the weather was bad, but he missed a lot of throws and guys that were wide open, no doubt. He was off. And this guy struggles in rain. The weather's supposed to cooperate on Sunday, but I do think he'll bounce back, and, I mean, he has to. With what's on the line, go to the Super Bowl. You know what happened last year? They continue to be in this spot. Back-to-back years, they've lost in the NFC title game. Now they're at home, and he gets hurt early right away in the game last year. But I can't wait to talk to John Lund coming up. We got this crazy report we'll get to coming up, what he told ESPN, Purdy, with his comments. But there's pressure on the kid. I mean, he's playing for future, a contract. Don't want to go out there and lay an egg. You may want the job next year and be the starting quarterback. There's a lot on the line for this guy, and he has to get it done and certainly bounce back after how bad he played for much of the game. Now, full marks that go right down the field after you get the missed field goal by Carlson. That's huge. That shows a lot of guts and moxie. But he has to do a better job, and he can't. Some guys can't play in bad weather and rain. That happens. But if the weather cooperates, I think he's got to put up big numbers. His defense is so bad. Well, everyone's throwing the ball on him.
I know it was a talking point last night on X that if it's going to be raining again, the guy is not great in that. There's a sample size now. It's a few games. He's got the small hands.
Yeah.
He was going
glove, no glove. What do I do?
Make up your mind.
Right.
So the
whole thing didn't make sense though. How do you not have your cleats situated? That situation, know what you're going to do.
Right.
I mean, it's going to rain. It happens all the time there. Mm-hmm. And you're the team, not Green Bay. You're the team that's... I don't know what cleats to use, and I'm slipping and sliding all over the place.
Yep. Another prop I wanted to look at was Patrick Mahomes. We briefly touched on this yesterday. At the time, his rushing prop was 27.5. Bettors have taken that under. It's now 25.5. I went back and looked at just playoff games in the history of Patrick Mahomes. Again, in 2018, he wasn't really running. That was his first year as a starter. He wasn't taking off that often, so he never went over 25.5 yards his first year ever in the playoffs. But since then, when you go back to 2019, when he started to run the ball more, he's gone over 26 yards in 8 of 14 games since then. And the Ravens have not really faced too many running quarterbacks, and I don't consider Mahomes a running quarterback anyway. But of the players on the schedule to go over this number against Baltimore this year, Trevor Lawrence had 4 carries for 41. Herbert had 4 for 47. Watson had 37 yards, and Josh Dobbs also had 26 yards earlier this year. That was when he was with Arizona. Can Mahomes get to 26 this week? Again, last week, he had a long run of 24 yards, but he finished the game with 19 yards, and kneel downs contributed to that, obviously. The week before that against Miami, he ran for 41. He has plenty of games in his career in the playoffs where he's in the 40s, 50s, and he's even had a game of 69 yards rushing the ball.
Yeah, I want the over. And he's key to extending drives, too. 3rd and 6, take off and run. 3rd and 8, take off and run. You're right. At some point, the 18, 22-yard run's coming, too, or longer, and what happened last week. I think he's going to get there.
Everybody's betting Lamar Jackson over as well. He was 59.5 yesterday. He's 63.5 today.
Well, that's a whole different ballgame. That stuff's by design. That's even, I'm going to drop back, but it's by design. I'm just going to take off and run. And then what stuff Monken puts in the playbook as well. I mean, just so dangerous to have 100 yards and what he does. I mean, it's the pressure he puts on the defense. I mean, he has okay, here comes Andrews. He's back, likely. Flowers, Beckham. Oh, I'm just going to take off and run. And there's nothing. And he probably would have had $150. We mentioned it briefly yesterday. If it weren't for Harris and some of the tackles the Texans made.
Yeah, right.
Some unbelievable plays that they made.
Yeah, his longest rush in this game is 16.5 yards. That's the thing, right? You could be betting under Lamar Jackson like every week, and he might have 2 yards rushing midway through the second quarter, and then on one play he drops back to pass. There's good coverage. He bolts, and there's 37 yards by Lamar because he's so fast, he's so elusive, and that just can happen. And it's like you're never safe with that guy when you have an under because he can. It's like Barry Sanders when he was Barry Sanders could have 11 carries for negative 2 yards in the third quarter, and all of a sudden, there's an 85-yard touchdown run. I mean, watching his entire career, that happened a lot, and Lamar's kind of the same way. But 63.5, I mean, if you want to bet Lamar Jackson over still, you got to bet it. It's only going to continue going up. I mean, until it maybe touches like 70, maybe in that range, it's going to have resistance to the under. I mean, he was 80 plus. Was how big of a number here last week?
Plus 350.
Yeah.
To get 80. Yeah.
Okay. Look at those quarterbacks who did that, by the way, against Baltimore. Lawrence, Herbert, Watson, and Dobbs. Mahomes is good for a 20-yard run at some point.
Yes.
That probably will happen. Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. VSiN host Matt Youmans is going to join the show up next. We'll get his best bets for tonight and this week in the NFL next here on the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We'll be doing it all week with the props. They're already up at DraftKings, and new customers can bet $5 on any game to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code VSiN. You'll be blown away by the menu, every sport, everything that's offered, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Code VSiN. The crown is yours.
All right, VSiN host Matt Youmans joins the program now. We'll get some best bets for tonight and this week. His show is called VSiN Tonight. It's 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday here on VSiN. Matt, thanks for the time. Good to talk to you as always. I said yesterday about the AFC title game, part of me said immediately, you need to bet the Ravens when it was -3, -120. And then the other part said, hey, idiot, you're betting against Patrick Mahomes then. So I don't have a bet on this game yet. How are you looking at it?
Well, I took 3.5 with the Chiefs right away. And, if I want to, I could come back with the Ravens on the money line or something later in the week. But I really thought the number was going to be 3. I didn't think we'd see a 3.5. To give Mahomes 3.5 is something I had to take here. This is just the 6th time in his career Mahomes has got 3 points or more. He's 5-0 against the spread in those games. And I was on the Chiefs last week against the Bills. I'm going to ride them again here. And the big difference is the Baltimore defense is much better than the Buffalo defense. Mm-hmm. And that was a big part of the reason why I played the Chiefs last week. The Bills were so beat up with the linebacker and secondary spots that I thought Travis Kelce and Mahomes will be able to take advantage of that. And that's not going to be the case this week against the Ravens. So it's going to be a much tougher matchup. We could talk for a long time about how the Bills screwed up that game. Sean McDermott, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, et cetera. A lot of people are just going to blame it on the kicker. Even if Tyler Bass made that kick, the Bills were probably still going to lose the game, and a lot of people aren't paying attention to that. I think one thing about the Chiefs I really like is the way Isaiah Pacheco's running the ball. He's like a battering ram right now, and he gives that offense just a little bit more balance if they can stick with the run. And the Kansas City defensive front is tough. And so I think this is going to be another one of those type of games that goes down to the wire. And to me, it was more about betting the number and betting on Mahomes at 3.5. I think that's the way to go early in the week. Okay. And we'll see if I change my mind, but right now I'm going to stick with the 3.5.
You always say buying on bad news, and for much of the season, the Niners were the number 1 team and power-rated team, and everyone was in love with them, and they were blowing everybody out. And now Purdy has a hiccup here, and America's team, now the Lions, taking support, 6.5 here at Circa. What do you think with the Debo situation and what you're going to do with the Niners 6.5 or 7 in the late game?
I don't know if I'm going to do anything with that. And I think Debo's going to play. I would expect that he does not have a fracture in his shoulder, so I think he's going to be out there. Here's the thing. A lot of times you want to bet the opposite of what you saw last in the NFL. And, yeah, I know the Niners struggled, but Wes Reynolds and I were talking about this on the show last night. They got their scare from the Packers. It wouldn't surprise me if they blew out the Lions this week. That Detroit defense has really got some issues. Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford have exploited that secondary the last couple of weeks, and I think the Niners are going to be able to do the same thing. And, say what you want to about Brock Purdy, but he came up big, clutch on that last drive to win the game. I want to know what Kyle Shanahan's thinking at the end of the first half.
Oh, it was bad. Terrible.
It doesn't get much worse than that. So I would expect the Niners to win the game. I don't know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to bet this one yet, but I don't want the Lions in this spot. I actually just don't trust the Detroit defense at all. I think, we saw the best of the Lions here the last couple of weeks at home. That electric atmosphere, it's going to be a different story on the road in San Francisco.
Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Matt Youmans, his show is called VSiN tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. on the West Coast. College basketball tonight. It's a really big night with teams that are ranked in the top 25. Let's start in the Big 12 here. Oklahoma is taking on Texas. They're at home. They're laying 4.5. Texas, great game against Baylor over the weekend with a buzzer beater win against the Baylor Bears. Good win for Texas. But what do you make of this number tonight between these two teams?
How stacked is the Big 12 on basketball, by the way? I mean, it is insane. 14 teams, and 12 of them are good. And tonight, Houston, which is number 1 in the Ken Palm ratings, goes up against BYU, which is number 10. Both teams are top 20 in offensive and defensive efficiency. But here's the thing with the Cougars. They haven't really been tested away from home too many times. Talked about this on your show a couple weeks ago when they went to Iowa State and ended up losing that game by 4 that night as a 3-point road favorite. Then the Cougars went to TCU and lost by 1. BYU, tough in Provo, last week blew out Iowa State by 15. I actually, if you look at Houston, adjusted tempo number 351 in college basketball. This is a really slow-paced team. BYU is a skilled offensive team with shooters, a little bit of a clash of styles here. Again, tough home court. Give me the home dog here, BYU plus 2.5. You got some guys who can light it up. A lot of people probably don't know Jackson Robinson, Spencer Johnson, but this is a really good BYU team. And again, Big 12 home courts have been strong. And I think BYU plus 2.5 is the right play here. As far as Oklahoma, Texas, You said it, Mitch. The Longhorns won at the buzzer against Baylor, and I think this is a really good spot to bet against them here on the road. Texas beat Oklahoma in 2 tight games last year. Porter Moser's doing a great job with this team. This number opened 3.5 overnight, and I think the sharp money's got it right here because the 3.5's already been bet up to 4.5 and 5. So lay 4.5 with the Sooners, and what's a bad spot for Texas?
All right, that sounds good. BYU got to be in a bad mood after blowing that big lead as well over the weekend. How about some golf plays? And then what a start to the golf season, which we mentioned yesterday. But the guys who have won tournaments already, a 500-1, a 300-1, a 200-1. Will it continue? Who do you like this weekend?
Yeah, I'm glad I haven't bet much on the golf futures board so far because we have not been really close to anything. And these long shots that hit have been crazy. I mean, this is something you're probably never going to see again in golf. But this week at Torrey Pines, this is one of my favorite tournaments, but it's not an elevated event. So you've got no Scotty Scheffler, no Justin Thomas, no Jon Rahm, obviously, no Rory. None of the superstars are going to be out there, and you got Xander Schauffele as a favorite. Torrey is one of those courses, and it's one of those tournaments where course history is a very strong indicator of who you should bet. And Jason Day is actually in pretty good form. I haven't bet Day much at all in the last 2 or 3 years, but he tied for 3rd here in 2022. He actually tied for 7th last year. Day has won here before at Torrey Pines. I think that's a player you got to look at, even at 25-1. It's not a great number, but 25 is good enough to get me on Jason Day here. And Sahith Theegala, when I went to this tournament last year, I followed him around a little bit. I was impressed with his game. And he actually, I think, has been getting better and better, and he was a winner in mid-September in California. He tied for 4th at Torrey last year at 9 under, 4 strokes back, and he's at 35-1. Yeah, there's going to be some long shots on the leaderboard this week. I don't know who they are, but I can tell you that Sahith Theegala and Jason Day are good bets to be up there on the leaderboard as well. And those numbers are enough to bet those guys. I think you can also bet those guys on placement markets. Mitch and I were talking about this. Top 10, top 20, that's another good way to bet golf.
Oh, that's the way I'm going to have to approach it this entire year because, I mean, when it's this unpredictable, I mean, how many tickets are books writing on guys at 525-1 or 400-1? So landing on a guy like that to win pre-tournament is, come on, that's not going to happen very often. So taking other guys, like I had 3 guys last week outright, Poston, Eric Cole, and Hadwin. I also bet them in the top 20. So it would have been a losing week, but thank God I had them for some top 20 placement markets.
That's well said. That's a good way to bet it. And if you're a bookmaker right now, you love golf because you've been scooping the pot on the futures board.
No kidding. Well said. Mm-hmm. You can catch Matt's show. It's called VSiN tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. West Coast time right here on VSiN Monday through Friday. Thanks, Matt. Best of luck this week.
Okay, you bet. Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.
So he's going to go to war with BYU against Houston. Well, I'll have more on this game coming up a little bit later on. It is definitely a contrast of styles tonight between the two Cougars.
One of the toughest places to play in the country.
Yeah.
Youmans very active on social media the last week or so, defending Culver's with all these lists that have been going on with the fast food. Big-time Culver's fan.
Nothing gets him riled up.
No, oh, yeah. Well, he's the expert on it.
Like a good cheeseburger.
Yeah, everyone's, everyone wants to chime in with their list, but we have the expert here at the network. Come on. There's no one better. This guy, this is his lifestyle.
He's the number one authority in the entire country.
Yeah, all paper plates. Doesn't own silverware. That's right. Did he say he was going through his cupboard and he found taco shells that were like 6 years old?
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. Tried them. Hey, still pretty good.
You got that? Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. Nothing at the house. Never does dishes. Never runs the dishwasher.
No silverware. That's right. Yep. All paper plates.
When's the last time you think he bought a bottle of Dawn dish soap? Ever? He's probably never.
Oh, good one. Yeah, good one.
Oh, man. Up next, we'll discuss teams in the NFL that we find intriguing for next year. Where will some of these win totals open? It's Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.